Hi there, Pilgrim here. So today in this little video I want to show you the changes I've made to skeleton spells for the Bots and Beasts mod for Torchlight 2. Um, the original skeleton spells I wasn't a great fan of. Not a huge fan of uh, duration summons, as you can probably guess with the mechanical tree. And so that was like the number one thing I wanted to get rid of. However, there are, in my opinion, a lot of problems with just the skill in general, um, and that is something I wanted to fix and make it more unique. So um, the three spells were warriors, archers, and blood uh, skeletons. Um, and yeah, they have a new identity. They are based on the Undead pirate theme from Crix from War Machine, and yeah, let me just show you their level 6 variants. Okay, so we've got Pirate Swordsman. You can summon 6, and they come with swords and shields. They have a mana cost of 116. Their cooldown is 1 minute, and for every level you get plus 10 to physical damage. Pistoliers are, you can summon 4 of them, they come with pistols and swords. And Revenant Bodyguards, you summon 2 of them with scythes and great shields, and they have a life leech effect. So this is how they're summoned now. So they summon in a circle, and they are using this cool pirate theme, undead pirate theme, and they've also been scaled up a bit as well. So they're slightly bigger than normal, and I've also gotten rid of the rim light, which is that purpley, pinky thing around them all. I don't know why that was ever put on there, because it looked awful. So these are just oozing with character now. Absolutely love it. So here are the pistoliers. Same thing. They just go in a circle. In this case, it's like pointed. So like northeast, southwest. And yeah, these have a pistol in the main hand and a sword in the offhand, and it uses the same rules as the marksmanship tree, where you will attack by default at range, but the moment something comes within melee, you will automatically switch to that. So that's really cool, and it works with no issue on the summons. And then lastly, we got the Revenant Bodyguards. And these are super elite Bane units with scythes and and great shields. They're really cool. I wanted to have a different theme to these guys other than pirate theme, due to their elite nature. And all of this works absolutely awesomely. Let's go ahead and get a load of enemies. Look at the skeleton pistoliers. You will see them in a moment. There we go. Switch to their melee and then go straight back to hitting with the pistol. As you can see, because the pistols are the changes to pistols are done on the pistol itself, the item. They're using the same rules that we do, so every single pistol in the game now has this rifle animation instead for the AoE. we did that specifically because the skill trees and everything, I wanted to get away from dual pistols. There will be ways to make that usable, because obviously things like cane and you would want to be represented if it's like a gun made sort of thing. But the main method of using a pistol would be with a offhand melee weapon, and as a result they have the same deficiencies that we do, which is that you're only using half of your damage at any one time. So yeah, all of this just works very well, and yeah, it's great. So this leads me to effectively what's going to happen going forward. Well, this is a fantastic way of just implementing units. So I was wondering how and if that was possible, and when I was I had this epiphany. So the other day I was going to go to bed, but then thought, hey, I've got this great idea for turning summons into these pirate ones instead, and I spent 7 hours implementing all of this instead of going to bed. And I actually had a pretty important job interview at 2 o'clock that day, and I didn't get any sleep. It went quite well, by the way, but yeah, priorities. But yeah, this method really does show you how we can get units from War Machine and Hordes into the game. Okay, we can just make them summons. So yeah, expect to see at some point units get it added as spells that you can equip, and effectively, you know, you'll get things like you know, swordsman. You know, Signar swordsman is a pretty easy one to implement. I mean, effectively it's the skeletal swordsman, but non-skeletal. But also things like long gunners, and also things like the polearm guys with the electrical polearms. Yeah, I can see that working just fine. In terms of that last one, actually, I'm pretty certain I could get them to use like a modified Stormclaw, or maybe just Stormclaw. So they'd summon it themselves, like the effect, and then their attacks would do chain lightning. So that seems pretty cool. So yeah, really the biggest thing is just a limitation with icons. So I'm probably going to have to start asking people if they want to help with icon making, and also things like animations. So naturally, you know, when the developers made a unit, they didn't give it every animation for every weapon. And so you can't just give, say, this skeleton here a two-handed sword, because they don't have any animation for it and they can't attack. Okay, so they'll just have the weapon, and even their idle state will look awful, to the point where the animation just stops. So it doesn't just work. We have to add animations or find something with the animation that we can use, which is kind of frustrating because I wanted initially to have the pistoliers as riflemen, and because that's a straight up weapon attachment for a unit of the undead unit, but they just had their rifles in one hand. They didn't have the proper. Can you even see this? There you go. They couldn't hold it in two hands, and they couldn't attack with it. So I had to change to pistoliers. But if anybody has any ideas about how I can fix that, right? If there's any easy way that we can give them the animation for it, that might be changed. And these might be changed to like a little unique unit instead. So unique units in War Machine Hordes are typically units of 3. And they can even be separate. So like if you, I could absolutely give you the Black 13th, and I can basically summon 3 different models in the same cast. So the Black 13th, for example, has a guy with 2 pistols, a guy with one pistol, and a guy with pistol on a sword. They all have different abilities, and all of that is actually possible. I don't think it's feasible in the near future at all. I'm just saying that it is technically possible. And just having a little unique unit of like a trio of these guys, because these are pretty powerful. Like having a pistol and a sword is actually a pretty powerful unit. It doesn't seem like it from the tooltip, but it's a very versatile unit. Same way that the bodyguards are really powerful. That's a very powerful unit because it has a really strong block chance. It has leeching attacks. Yeah. So just because the tooltip doesn't look interesting doesn't mean it isn't powerful. There's a lot going on with the unit overall. So yeah, possible things, but for the moment, this will be in the next major update to the workshop variant. This is going to be about version 160 something, like 163, and yeah, I can't wait for you to actually use it and experience it. So if you're watching this and it still hasn't come out yet, go ahead and look for the spells in preparation. In addition, because it was really simple, I did some light changes to the other summon spells that were there. I removed durations, so if you wanted, you could still use zombies and blood zombie, flaming swords and stuff. Those all have durations removed. The sword, you actually get 2 swords that summon. And yeah, at some point I will do like a really big change to zombies. I wanted the skeletal stuff to be a bit more than like you've obviously got like super cheap units. If we look at this from a War Machine Hordes point of view, a zombie unit would be like 4 to 5 points for like a whole 10-man unit or something. Like basically incredibly cheap models. Oh my god, they finally finished. Yeah, whereas I envision these being like a 6 to 7, 8-ish costed unit, you know. So these aren't bottom of the barrel, they're not elite units, but they're nice go-between. Whereas zombies, I do actually want to be a really, really cheap unit, but spammable. So I'm actually thinking of having zombies as a 6 summon for levels 1, 2 and 3, and 10 for 4, 5 and 6. And yeah, just have them as a pretty weak unit, so they won't be tankers. They'll just be effectively what I think they should be, which is meat shields. They will die often, and you'll have to keep on recasting them if you want that meat shield. Essentially mechanithrals. Okay, so if you look into the Crix mechanithrals and the mechanical brutes, so those will essentially be replacing the blood zombie. It's basically just a big brutish variant of them. They're massive compared to the mechanithrals, but they are in the same unit. So you've got the unit of mechanithrals, and then the unit attachment is actually this big brute. So that's going to be next. Yeah, I cannot wait for you to experience all of this. I'm super proud of this. I do not think spending 7 hours trying to implement this was a waste of time, because the end result is fantastic, and it led me to understanding units, summons, a lot better. And yeah, that knowledge means that I can rapidly expand the different types of summon units available, and that's going to be such a cool thing to work on, and I cannot wait. So give me a like if you liked it, and you know, tell me what you want to see. What units do you want to see first? We'll try and make it pretty compact initially. You know, let's try and get some units for each faction before expanding it, but this is something that can be really expanded upon. Yeah, it's such a cool development. I love it. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.